Your dreams, struggles, and fears are not for public debate. Guard them wisely. When you control your words, you control your future. The less you share, the fewer obstacles others can create for you. Why do some people always stay ahead while others struggle? It's not just about intelligence. It's about what they choose to keep private. Smart people know that sharing the wrong things can invite doubt, judgment, and even manipulation. Have you ever shared a goal and been met with negativity, or opened up about a struggle, only to feel worse afterward? That's because not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some will discourage you, others will use your words against you. In this video, we'll uncover 10 things smart people never share. These are the things that, when kept private, protect your mindset, your future, and your success. If you want to stay strong, focused, and in control of your life, keep watching, because this will change the way you think. Number 1. Protect your dreams by keeping them private from doubters. Your dreams are yours. They belong to you, and they are meant to be protected. They are not up for discussion with people who don't see your vision. They are not meant to be exposed to doubters who lack the courage to dream for themselves. Smart people understand this. They know that some things are best kept private, especially in the early stages when dreams are the most fragile. Not everyone will believe in you. Some people will doubt you simply because they doubt themselves. They see you aiming higher, pushing forward, wanting more, and it makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of everything they never had the courage to go after. Instead of being inspired by your ambition, they try to bring you back down to their level. They say things like, "Are you sure that's a good idea, or that's too risky?" They don't say it to help you. They say it to keep you from proving that success is possible. The truth is, some people don't want to see you win, not because they hate you, but because your success forces them to face their own failures. If you achieve your dreams, they can no longer make excuses for why they never tried. If you rise, they lose their ability to justify staying in the same place. It's easier for them to doubt you than to take responsibility for their own choices. Doubters don't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes, they are the people closest to you, family, friends, even mentors. They might not intend to harm you, but their words carry weight. When someone you trust questions your dream, it plants a seed of doubt. It makes you wonder if they're right. It makes you hesitate. And hesitation is dangerous because it slows you down. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. Everything you achieve starts in your mind first. If you believe in your dream, you will find a way to make it happen. But if you let doubt take over, it will weaken your belief. And once your belief is weak, your actions will follow. You won't push as hard. You won't stay as committed. You won't give it your all. And that's exactly what the doubters want. That's why smart people don't share their dreams with everyone. They understand that a dream needs time to grow before it can withstand criticism. They know that when a dream is new, it's vulnerable. It needs nurturing, not questioning. It needs focus, not opinions. Talking about your dream too soon can also create unnecessary pressure. When you announce what you're going to do, people start watching. Some are waiting to see you succeed, but others are waiting for you to fail. And when people expect results before you're ready, it can make you feel rushed. You start worrying about what others think, instead of focusing on the work that needs to be done. Your dream is not a performance. It's not something you owe to anyone. It's your journey, your goal, your responsibility. You don't need outside validation to make it real. The only thing that matters is whether you believe in it, and whether you are willing to do what it takes to make it happen. Doubters love to ask questions, but smart people know they don't have to answer. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your ambition. You don't need to defend your vision to people who don't see it. You don't have to waste energy convincing others, when that energy could be used to build. People will always have opinions. Some will doubt you, some will criticize you, and some will try to talk you out of your own dreams. But their opinions don't create your future. Your actions do. And the only way to take real action is to stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay quiet about your plans until they are strong enough to stand on their own. That doesn't mean you should never share your dreams, but it does mean you should be selective. Share only with those who have earned your trust. Share with people who encourage you, not those who hold you back. Share with people who have walked the path before you, who know what it takes to succeed. And even then, be careful. Not everyone who smiles at you wants to see you win. Not everyone who listens to your plans has good intentions. Some will pretend to support you, only to use your ideas for themselves. Some will act interested, only to turn around and spread doubt behind your back. So how do you protect your dream? You focus on the work. You build in silence. You let your progress speak for itself. The world doesn't need to know what you're planning. It only needs to see what you've accomplished. Success isn't about talking. It's about doing. It's about discipline, commitment, and persistence. Smart people don't waste time trying to prove themselves to doubters. They spend their time making their dreams real. And when the dream is finally strong enough, when it has turned into something solid, something undeniable, that's when you reveal it. Not with words, but with results. Not with explanations, but with achievements. By then the doubters won't matter. Their words will be meaningless. Because when you succeed, the same people who doubted you will either have to acknowledge your victory or stay silent. And either way you win. So protect your dreams. Keep them away from those who don't believe in you. Guard them with everything you have. Because when you do, when you give your dreams the time and space they need to grow, nothing and no one can stop you. Number 2. Guard your weaknesses to prevent manipulation by others. Guarding your weaknesses is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about protecting yourself from those who might use your vulnerabilities against you. The world is full of different people. Some are supportive, but others seek to take advantage of any sign of weakness. Smart people understand this, and they know that not everyone should have access to their struggles, doubts, or insecurities. Weakness is not just about physical or financial struggles. It can be emotional, mental, or even social. It can be a lack of confidence in certain areas, fears that hold you back, or past mistakes that you regret. When people know your weaknesses, they gain power over you. They know what to say to make you doubt yourself. They know what buttons to press to make you react. And in moments of stress, they can manipulate you into making decisions that do not serve you. Think about the times you've shared your fears or struggles with the wrong people. Maybe you confided in someone about your insecurities, and later they used that information to hurt you in an argument. Or perhaps you expressed doubts about your abilities, and instead of encouragement, you were met with words that made you feel even smaller. This is why guarding your weaknesses is so important. Smart people don't hide their weaknesses because they are ashamed. They hide them because they refuse to give others the power to control them. They understand that while everyone has flaws, not everyone needs to know about them. They work on their weaknesses in private, building strength in silence. Instead of seeking pity or validation, they take action to improve themselves. There are people in this world who thrive on controlling others. They look for any sign of vulnerability and use it as leverage. They do this in relationships, in workplaces, in business, and even in friendships. If you openly admit that you struggle with confidence, someone may use that knowledge to make you doubt yourself even more. If you share that you are easily stressed, someone might intentionally put pressure on you to make you break. Guarding your weaknesses is not about being dishonest. It's about being strategic. It's about deciding who truly deserves to know your struggles. It's about choosing wisely when and where to share your vulnerabilities. Not every person who listens to you is there to help you. Some are just gathering information, waiting for the right moment to use it against you. Smart people also understand that the more they focus on their weaknesses publicly, the more they reinforce those weaknesses in their own minds. If you constantly talk about what you are bad at, you begin to believe that you can improve. But when you work on yourself in private, you give yourself the space to grow without judgment or interference. You build confidence from within, rather than seeking reassurance from others. There is also another reason to keep your weaknesses guarded. Perception matters. The way others see you affects how they treat you. If people perceive you as strong and capable, they will approach you with respect. But if they see you as weak and insecure, they may treat you as someone who can be easily influenced. In professional settings, this can affect opportunities. In relationships, this can determine the balance of power. In everyday life, it can shape how others interact with you. This does not mean you should act like you have no struggles. It simply means you must be careful about who you trust with your vulnerabilities. The right people will help you grow. The wrong people will use your weaknesses to control you. If you want to guard your weaknesses effectively, start by becoming more self-aware. Understand what areas you struggle with and work on them in private. Seek improvement instead of sympathy. Focus on becoming stronger rather than broadcasting your flaws. The more you develop yourself, the less others can use against you. Another powerful way to protect your weaknesses is to control your emotions. People who can easily read your emotions can easily manipulate you. If you react strongly to criticism, some will criticize you just to watch you lose control. If you become anxious under pressure, others may intentionally put you in stressful situations. But if you remain calm and composed, you take away their power to influence your state of mind. Being emotionally strong does not mean you never feel pain or doubt. It means you do not let those feelings control you. It means you take time to process challenges on your own terms, instead of letting others dictate how you should feel. When you guard your emotions, you protect yourself from being easily manipulated. Smart people also practice selective vulnerability. This means choosing the right time, place, and person to open up to. Not every struggle needs to be shared with the world. Some challenges are best handled internally, while others should be shared only with trusted mentors, close friends, or professionals who can truly help. Think of the most successful people you admire. Do they publicly announce every struggle they face? Or do they work on themselves in silence and emerge stronger? The people who are truly powerful do not allow their weaknesses to be easily exposed. They build resilience. They develop strategies to overcome their struggles. They do not give others an easy way to manipulate them. The more you guard your weaknesses, the more control you have over your life. You reduce the chances of being taken advantage of. You build confidence in your ability to handle challenges. And you develop the inner strength that allows you to move forward without fear. There will always be people who try to test you, who try to find ways to break your confidence or push your buttons. But when you refuse to let them see your weaknesses, you become unshakable. You become the kind of person who cannot be easily controlled. And that is true power. Guarding your weaknesses is not about avoiding growth. It is about taking charge of your own development. It is about deciding who deserves access to your struggles. It is about becoming strong from the inside out. If you want to succeed, if you want to stay in control of your life, if you want to protect yourself from unnecessary struggles, then learn to guard your weaknesses. Do the inner work, become stronger in silence, and never allow anyone to use your struggles against you. Number 3. Control your emotions to stay strong in tough situations. Controlling your emotions is one of the greatest strengths you can develop in life. When challenges arise, your ability to stay composed determines whether you overcome them or become overwhelmed by them. Emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings, but about managing them, so they do not control your decisions. It is the difference between reacting impulsively and responding wisely. In tough situations, emotions can cloud your judgment, making problems appear worse than they are. The key is to take charge of your emotional state before it takes charge of you. Life will test you with moments of pressure, frustration, and uncertainty. These moments will challenge your patience and push you to your limits. If you allow anger, fear, or frustration to dictate your actions, you may end up making choices that hurt you in the long run. Every decision you make while emotional has the potential to shape your future, and once an action is taken, it cannot be undone. That is why emotional control is critical. It protects you from making mistakes you will regret. Staying strong in tough situations requires mental discipline. When adversity strikes, your mind may race with negative thoughts, telling you that you are not capable, that the situation is too difficult, or that failure is inevitable. But thoughts are not facts. Just because you feel fear does not mean you are powerless. Just because something is difficult does not mean it is impossible. Training your mind to remain steady under pressure gives you an advantage over those who allow emotions to dictate their actions. In moments of stress, people often look for immediate relief. They react impulsively, saying or doing things out of frustration, only to regret it later. They let anger take over in an argument and say words they cannot take back. They panic under pressure and make poor decisions that cost them opportunities. This is why self-control is essential. It stops you from becoming your own worst enemy. When you remain calm, you think clearly. When you think clearly, you make smarter choices. And when you make smarter choices, you create better outcomes. People who cannot control their emotions often struggle in their personal and professional lives. They lose respect because others see them as unpredictable. They miss out on opportunities because they let emotions get in the way of rational thinking. Employers want people who can remain composed under pressure. Leaders are expected to make decisions based on logic, not emotions. If you want to be successful, you must master your ability to remain level-headed, no matter what is happening around you. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is pausing before reacting. When you feel a strong emotion rising, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment. That brief pause gives you control. It prevents you from acting on impulse and allows you to assess the situation with a clear mind. The more you practice this, the stronger your emotional discipline becomes. Over time, you will find that you are less affected by stress, criticism, and negativity. You will learn to observe your emotions without being controlled by them. Self-awareness is another critical part of emotional control. You must understand your triggers, what upsets you, what makes you anxious, what frustrates you. When you identify these triggers, you gain the ability to manage them effectively. Instead of reacting automatically, you can make a conscious decision on how to respond. The more aware you are of your emotions, the better you can control them. In tough situations, emotions like fear and doubt can make you hesitate. They can make you question yourself, making problems seem bigger than they are. But the truth is, fear often exaggerates reality. It makes you imagine the worst possible outcome, even when there is no real danger. When you recognize that fear is just a feeling, not a fact, you take away its power. You learn to push forward despite it, instead of being controlled by it. Another challenge people face is dealing with criticism. When someone criticizes you, your natural reaction might be to get defensive or take it personally. But emotional control allows you to process feedback without letting it shake your confidence. Not all criticism is bad. Some of it can help you grow. However, if you react emotionally, you may miss the valuable lessons hidden in it. Staying calm and listening objectively allows you to separate helpful advice from meaningless negativity. Relationships are another area where emotional control is crucial. Disagreements are a natural part of life, but how you handle them determines the quality of your relationships. If you let anger dictate your words, you may damage bonds with people you care about. If you respond with patience and understanding, you create stronger connections. Emotional control allows you to navigate conflicts in a way that leads to resolution, rather than regret. In professional settings, emotional control separates high achievers from those who struggle. There will always be challenges, deadlines, setbacks, difficult colleagues. If you react emotionally to every problem, you will burn out quickly. But if you remain steady, approach issues calmly, and focus on solutions, you will stand out as someone who can be trusted with responsibility. Emotional discipline makes you a person others look up to, someone who remains composed when others panic. The key to emotional control is daily practice. You do not develop this skill overnight. It requires conscious effort in every situation, big or small. Start by noticing when emotions start to rise. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will reacting emotionally help or hurt me? Train yourself to pause before responding. Focus on solutions rather than problems. With consistent practice, staying calm in tough situations becomes second nature. Physical habits also affect emotional control. Lack of sleep, poor diet, and lack of exercise can make you more irritable and reactive. Taking care of your body strengthens your ability to manage emotions. When you feel good physically, you are better equipped to handle stress. Simple habits like deep breathing, staying hydrated, and getting enough rest make a big difference in your emotional stability. Another powerful strategy is reframing challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as threats, see them as opportunities to grow. Every tough situation is a chance to strengthen your emotional control. When you shift your mindset, you stop seeing problems as obstacles and start seeing them as training. Each challenge you face is another step toward becoming mentally stronger. One mistake people make is assuming that emotional control means ignoring feelings. That is not the case. It is about acknowledging your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. It is about choosing responses that serve you rather than reactions that harm you. When you feel angry, frustrated, or overwhelmed, recognize those emotions, but do not let them lead your decisions. Instead, take a step back, breathe, and act with intention. Another important aspect of emotional control is learning to let go of what you cannot change. Many people waste energy being upset over things they have no power over. They get frustrated about the past, angry about what others say, or anxious about things they cannot control. But energy spent on these things is wasted. The more you focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, the more powerful you become. In tough situations, people who lack emotional control often feel powerless. They let circumstances dictate their state of mind. But those who master their emotions take charge of their reactions. No matter what happens around them, they decide their attitude. They choose their focus. They remain strong when others break down. This ability gives them an edge in every area of life. There will always be challenges. There will always be people who test your patience. There will always be unexpected difficulties. But when you develop emotional discipline, none of these things will shake you. You will remain steady in the face of adversity. You will keep moving forward when others get stuck. And most importantly, you will stay in control of your own life. Developing emotional control is one of the greatest investments you can make in yourself. It allows you to handle stress, improve relationships, make better decisions, and achieve greater success. It is not something that happens instantly, but with practice, it becomes a powerful skill that transforms every aspect of your life. When you master your emotions, you master yourself, and when you master yourself, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Number 4. Limit personal struggles shared to avoid unnecessary judgment. Personal struggles are a part of life. Everyone faces challenges, setbacks, and difficulties. Some are small, while others shake us to the core. In those tough moments, it is natural to want to talk about your pain. You may feel the urge to open up, to seek comfort, or to find someone who understands. But there is wisdom in being selective about what you share and with whom you share it. Not everyone needs to know your struggles. Not everyone will understand. And more importantly, not everyone will support you. Sharing personal struggles with the wrong people can lead to unnecessary judgment, criticism, and even manipulation. Some people will listen just to satisfy their curiosity, not to help you. Others may pretend to care, but will use your vulnerability against you later. Some might spread your struggles like gossip, twisting your words and adding their own opinions. You must be cautious about who you allow into your inner world. Your struggles are personal, and they should be protected. When you reveal too much about your difficulties, you open the door to unwanted opinions. People will judge your choices without knowing the full story. They will offer advice that is neither helpful nor relevant. Some may even look down on you, assuming that your struggles define you, but your struggles do not define you. How you handle them does. The less you share with the wrong people, the more control you have over your own narrative. Many people seek validation by sharing their struggles. They hope for sympathy, encouragement, or reassurance. But relying on external validation can be dangerous. If you constantly seek approval from others, you give them the power to shape how you feel about yourself. One negative comment, one dismissive response, and your confidence can take a hit. You must learn to find strength within yourself rather than depending on others to lift you up. Another risk of oversharing is that it can create a negative reputation. When you frequently talk about your struggles, people start associating you with problems rather than solutions. They see you as someone who is always dealing with difficulties, rather than someone who overcomes them. This perception can limit opportunities. In professional settings, employers want people who can handle challenges without making them public drama. In personal relationships, people respect those who deal with their struggles privately and with resilience. There is a difference between seeking genuine support and oversharing. It is wise to have a few trusted individuals you can confide in. People who genuinely care about your well-being. People who offer constructive advice, not criticism. People who encourage you to grow rather than keep you stuck in your struggles. These individuals are rare, and they should be chosen carefully. Not everyone who smiles at you is on your side. Not everyone who listens has good intentions. Protect your struggles by choosing wisely. Some people share their struggles because they think it will make others relate to them more. They believe that vulnerability creates connection. While this is true in some cases, there is a fine line between vulnerability and oversharing. True connection happens when there is mutual trust, not when you reveal everything to just anyone. If you constantly expose your struggles, people may start seeing you as emotionally dependent. They may even lose respect for you over time. One of the biggest dangers of oversharing personal struggles is that it can be used against you. In moments of frustration or conflict, people may bring up your past struggles to undermine you. What you shared in confidence could become a weapon in the wrong hands. The fewer people who know your weaknesses, the stronger your position in life. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your struggles. You owe yourself the peace of handling them in a way that protects your dignity. When you share your struggles with too many people, you also invite their emotions into your situation. Their fear, doubt, and pessimism can mix with your own thoughts, making you feel worse rather than better. Some may unintentionally project their own failures onto you, making you question your ability to overcome your problems. Instead of receiving strength, you may absorb their negativity. That is why it is often better to work through struggles privately and seek advice only from those who uplift you. There is power in privacy. When you keep your struggles to yourself, you maintain control over how you deal with them. You do not have to manage other people's opinions or reactions. You can focus on solutions without external noise clouding your mind. You can process your emotions without interference. Privacy gives you the space to heal, to reflect, and to grow at your own pace. Some of the most successful people in the world do not announce their struggles while they are going through them. They work in silence, they fight their battles privately, and they emerge stronger. They understand that struggles are temporary, but reputations are lasting. They refuse to let their difficulties define how others see them. And when they do speak about their struggles, it is usually after they have overcome them, not while they are still in the middle of the fight. Many people believe that sharing their struggles will earn them support. But in reality, the more you talk about your problems, the more people will see you as a person with problems. You do not need validation from others to confirm that your struggles are real. You do not need permission to heal or to move forward. Your journey is yours alone, and how you handle it is entirely up to you. Another reason to limit what you share is to protect your mental and emotional energy. Talking about struggles repeatedly can keep you stuck in a cycle of negativity. The more you dwell on a problem, the bigger it feels. When you focus too much on what is wrong, you drain yourself mentally. Instead of talking about your struggles, invest your energy in finding solutions. Focus on taking action rather than seeking sympathy. Some people share their struggles hoping for advice, but the truth is, most advice from the wrong people is unhelpful. Many people give advice based on their own experiences, not based on what is best for you. Their perspective is limited to their own life, and what worked for them may not work for you. The best advice often comes from those who have successfully overcome similar challenges, not from those who simply have an opinion on your situation. Your personal struggles are a part of your growth. They are lessons that shape you, strengthen you, and teach you resilience. Not every struggle needs to be shared. Not every pain needs to be announced. Some battles are meant to be fought in silence, with the results speaking for themselves. The strongest people are not those who constantly talk about their struggles, but those who overcome them without making them their identity. If you feel the need to share, do so with intention. Share only with those who have earned your trust. Share with people who offer wisdom, not judgment. Choose quality over quantity when it comes to who you confide in. The fewer unnecessary voices in your life, the clearer your mind will be. Sometimes silence is the best response to your struggles. Not because you are hiding, but because you are protecting your peace. Not because you are ashamed, but because you are focused on moving forward. Not because you do not need help, but because you understand that strength is built in quiet moments of perseverance. Your struggles do not define you, but how you handle them does. The world does not need to know every difficulty you face. Protect your journey, guard your challenges, share wisely, stay focused on your growth, not on gaining approval from others. And most importantly, remember that you are always stronger than the struggles you face. Number 5. Keep financial plans secret to stay ahead in life. Financial plans are one of the most powerful tools you have in creating a successful life. But the moment you start sharing your financial plans with others, you expose yourself to risks that can hinder your progress. Financial plans are deeply personal and should be protected, not just to avoid unwanted opinions, but also to maintain the discipline, privacy, and motivation necessary to see them through. Keeping your financial goals secret is a strategic choice that can help you stay ahead in life. When you share your financial plans, especially with people who aren't in your immediate circle of trusted advisors, you invite unnecessary judgment. Everyone has their own perspective on money, and often those perspectives come with biases, doubts, and sometimes even envy. Some people might discourage you from taking calculated risks or pursuing big goals, while others might criticize your choices or push their own agendas. Whether their advice is based on experience or opinion, once you open up about your plans, you risk being influenced by opinions that don't align with your vision for your future. The truth is that not everyone will support your financial ambitions. Some people, even those close to you, may not understand your vision or your reasons for doing things in a certain way. They may offer advice that's more about their own comfort zone than your potential path forward. The moment you share your financial goals with too many people, you may expose yourself to doubts that can make you second-guess your decisions. Self-doubt is a powerful force, and it can prevent you from executing your plan with confidence and commitment. Another reason to keep your financial plans private is to maintain focus. Financial goals often require long-term commitment and sacrifices. When you share your financial strategy with others, you may unknowingly invite distractions and interruptions. People will have opinions about what you should do with your money, when you should invest, and how much you should spend. They will not be living with the consequences of your decisions, and their advice might pull you away from your original course. By keeping your financial plans to yourself, you preserve the clarity you need to stay on track. Furthermore, keeping your financial plans secret prevents the unnecessary pressure of explaining every step. Once you share your plans with others, you may find yourself justifying your actions, defending your choices, and constantly explaining why you're doing things the way you are. This not only drains your energy, but also takes focus away from executing your plans. Success in the financial world is achieved through discipline and action, not by constantly talking about your plans. The more you talk, the more likely you are to be sidetracked by people who don't understand your vision. When you're focused on financial growth, it's essential to protect your energy. A big part of protecting your energy is knowing what and who to share your plans with. Sharing too much about your financial future can give people access to your inner goals and expose weaknesses that they might exploit. There are people who will prey on your ambition and use your openness against you. They might suggest deals that benefit them, not you. Or they may try to pull you into investments that are risky or unnecessary. The more people who know about your financial aspirations, the more opportunity you give them to manipulate or take advantage of your plans. Moreover, keeping your financial goals to yourself helps you build a strong, independent mindset. Financial success is as much about mental discipline as it is about numbers. When you keep your plans private, you are forced to rely on your own intuition, decisions, and understanding of what's best for you. It forces you to be resourceful, think critically, and execute with precision. The moment you start seeking validation or approval for your financial decisions, you risk losing that independence. Staying quiet gives you space to trust yourself and take ownership of your own future. Being secretive about your financial plans also allows you to protect your personal life. The more people know about your wealth-building journey, the more you become a target, whether it's for business opportunities, loans, or even friendship. Others may start viewing you through the lens of your financial situation, rather than who you are as a person. People can become fixated on what you have, rather than on the value you bring to the table. When you keep your financial plans under wraps, you maintain your privacy and avoid being seen as a potential source of financial gain for others. In the early stages of pursuing financial goals, there are often many unknowns. You might face setbacks, make mistakes, and encounter unexpected challenges. If you've shared your plans, you may feel the pressure to justify these setbacks to others. People might lose confidence in you, or worse, they might use your failures as a point of criticism. The key to success is persistence. When you keep your plans secret, you create the space to make mistakes, learn from them, and ultimately succeed without the added pressure of external judgment. Your journey should be about your growth and progress, not about proving anything to anyone else. Additionally, keeping your financial plans to yourself allows you to move in silence and surprise the world with your success. Some of the most successful people in history are those who didn't announce their plans to everyone around them. Instead, they focused on execution, working quietly behind the scenes, and letting their results speak for themselves. This approach builds confidence because you're not seeking validation from others. You're trusting the process and your ability to handle obstacles along the way. Once you achieve your financial goals, your success will become evident to everyone, and no one can take that away from you. There is also a practical side to keeping financial plans private. When you share your plans with too many people, you risk creating competition or drawing unwanted attention. Your financial competitors may learn your strategies and try to copy or undermine them. In some cases, people might try to one-up your plans, leading to unnecessary rivalry and even sabotage. By keeping your plans to yourself, you protect your competitive edge and ensure that others don't interfere with your path. Furthermore, keeping your financial plans private is a demonstration of your maturity and self-discipline. Many people find it difficult to avoid talking about their dreams and ambitions, but true strength comes in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Successful individuals understand that financial plans are not to be broadcasted. They recognize that their journey is personal, and they focus on achieving their goals rather than discussing them. The more you learn to control your impulses to share, the more disciplined you become in your approach to wealth building. In business, secrecy is often a key component of success. Many entrepreneurs guard their business ideas and financial strategies, knowing that the market can be unpredictable. Once you share too much, you risk losing the advantage you've worked so hard to build. It's not about being deceptive, it's about protecting your intellectual property and ensuring that you maintain control over your efforts. The moment you broadcast every step, you lose the element of surprise and innovation that can make your plans work. On the other hand, it's essential to have trusted advisors, financial experts, mentors, or close friends with experience who can guide you. Sharing with a few trusted people allows you to receive solid advice without exposing your plans to unnecessary scrutiny. When choosing someone to confide in, make sure they are people who not only have knowledge, but also respect your boundaries. Their guidance should be used as a tool to refine your plans, not as a way to influence or control your decisions. In life, you are your most valuable asset. By keeping your financial plans private, you create space for yourself to grow without interference. You protect your mind from unnecessary distractions and judgment. You protect your potential from being clouded by others' opinions. You ensure that you stay in control of your own story. Financial plans should be treated as personal blueprints for your success. When you keep them secret, you guard your ability to make them a reality, in your own way and on your own terms. If you truly want to stay ahead in life, you must understand the importance of discretion. The less you reveal, the more power you have. By focusing on the work, staying quiet about the details, and trusting the process, you'll find yourself ahead of the game, not because you told everyone what you were doing, but because you let your actions speak louder than words.
Number 6. Hide future goals until they are fully achieved. Setting goals is a powerful way to shape your future, whether they are personal, professional, or financial. Goals give you direction and purpose. However, sharing those goals before they are fully realized can expose them to unwanted distractions and negative energy. While you may be excited about your aspirations, it's important to understand that sometimes the best course of action is to keep your goals to yourself until they are fully achieved. This strategy not only protects your vision, but also helps you stay focused and motivated in a world full of distractions. The moment you share your future goals with others, you open yourself up to outside opinions, skepticism, and criticism. People, even well-meaning friends and family, may not fully understand the vision or ambition behind your goals. They might not see the bigger picture, and their feedback can be discouraging, even if it's not intentional. What's worse, if they don't believe in your goals, they may plant seeds of doubt in your mind. These seeds can grow into self-doubt, which can derail your progress before you've even started. In addition, once you announce your goals, the pressure to achieve them can escalate. Others will start to expect results, and that expectation can create unnecessary stress. Instead of focusing purely on your actions, You may feel weighed down by the need to deliver on promises or projections you made when you were still in the early stages of planning. Your goals can shift from being a personal pursuit to something you feel obligated to fulfill for the sake of other people's opinions. The more people who know, the more external pressures you will face. Moreover, sharing your future goals with others can invite envy or criticism. Not everyone around you will celebrate your ambitions. Some may feel threatened by your goals, seeing them as a challenge to their own achievements. This can lead to negativity that works against you. Instead of encouraging you, people may subtly undermine you, or even become passive-aggressive. They might downplay your dreams, mocking them, or questioning your abilities. This kind of negativity can slow your momentum, making it harder to push forward when things get tough. One of the biggest reasons to hide your goals until they are achieved is to protect your energy. Every time you share your goals with someone, you exchange energy. If the person you're sharing with is negative or doubtful, their energy will affect you. If they don't believe in you or try to convince you to settle for less, you could absorb their pessimism and start doubting yourself. In contrast, when you keep your goals to yourself, you protect your mental and emotional space. You're less likely to get caught up in other people's fears and insecurities. You can stay focused on your path without being pulled in different directions. Additionally, revealing your goals prematurely can often result in shallow validation. Many people like to seek approval from others, but the truth is, external validation is temporary and unreliable. When you share your goals with others, you may receive compliments or encouragement that feels good in the moment. However, this praise doesn't come from a place of genuine understanding of your journey. It's just surface-level approval. The validation you receive isn't based on your ability to achieve your goals, but on their ability to accept the idea of them. This kind of validation doesn't provide you with the real sustained motivation you need. What you need is self-validation, the kind that comes from deep belief in your own potential and ability to achieve your goals. In addition to the energy drain and external pressure, sharing your future goals too early can lead to unwanted comparisons. When you announce what you're working toward, others may start comparing your goals to their own or to what they think is achievable. This creates a competitive environment where people might try to one-up you or criticize your goals. They might tell you that what you're aiming for is unrealistic or impossible. Instead of celebrating your ambition, they might focus on how your plans measure up to their own success, or how they think you should change your approach. This comparison steals your focus and distracts you from your own journey. You lose sight of your own path and start to measure yourself against others, which can slow your progress. Even if the people around you are supportive, it can still be helpful to keep your goals to yourself. People may give you their opinions, but your journey is yours alone. They may offer advice, but what works for one person might not be right for you. Your goals are specific to your life, and the way you approach them is unique to you. If you share your goals with too many people, you risk having them influence your decisions, even in ways you don't fully realize. If you're constantly asking for input, you may end up changing your approach based on the feedback of others, even though you're the one who knows what's best for you. Another reason to keep your goals hidden until they are achieved is to build your sense of personal accountability. When you announce a goal to others, you might start to feel like you're accountable to them, rather than yourself. You may begin to focus on meeting their expectations instead of your own. Your journey should be rooted in personal responsibility, not in the desire to meet others' expectations. By keeping your goals to yourself, you maintain full ownership of the process. You hold yourself accountable without the distraction of other people's opinions or expectations. You can check your progress privately and adjust your strategies as needed, without feeling the need to explain yourself or defend your choices. Furthermore, delaying the sharing of your goals can prevent you from spreading yourself too thin. People, when they know about your goals, might want to be involved or ask for your help with their own plans. You may feel the need to assist others, take on additional responsibilities, or even alter your plans to accommodate them. While helping others is important, it's crucial to stay focused on your goals. By not disclosing what you're working on, you limit the chance of being sidetracked or distracted by other people's agendas. Your time and energy are finite, and your focus should remain on your personal goals until you have achieved them. The process of keeping your goals private allows you to focus on doing the work necessary for success. The work is what gets you closer to your goals, not the talking about them, not the celebrating of every small step along the way. Success is built on actions, not on declarations. When you're working quietly and diligently, You have the space to learn, fail, and try again without worrying about what others think. By keeping your goals to yourself, you create a private space where you can experiment, make mistakes, and grow without feeling the need to explain or justify yourself to anyone. Furthermore, secrecy can give you the flexibility to pivot, if necessary. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes your goals will evolve as you move forward. You might realize that a particular path isn't working, and decide to adjust your approach. If you've shared your goals with others, it can be difficult to change course without feeling like you've let someone down. Keeping your plans under wraps allows you to adjust and adapt without fear of judgment. You are free to innovate and change direction when necessary, without the pressure of having to explain yourself to others. Keeping your goals private also helps to cultivate an air of mystery and intrigue. People will be curious about what you're working on, but they won't have the full picture. When you do eventually achieve your goal, the success will feel much more powerful because it will come as a surprise. Others will be impressed by the outcome, not because you've been talking about your plans, but because you've quietly executed them and produced results. This approach builds a sense of respect and admiration that you might not receive if you had been talking about your goals all along.
Number 7, shield deep fears to prevent others from using them. Fears are a part of being human. They can come from our past, our experiences, or even our imagination. But one thing is for certain, fears, when exposed, can become a powerful weapon in the hands of others. People around us, intentionally or unintentionally, can use our vulnerabilities to manipulate, control, or undermine our confidence. This is why it's crucial to shield your deepest fears and protect them from those who might seek to exploit them. By doing so, you safeguard not just your emotional well-being, but your overall growth and success. We all have fears. Some are obvious, and others are more hidden deep within. Whether it's a fear of failure, rejection, loss, or not being good enough, these fears can create barriers that hold us back from reaching our full potential. The problem arises when we allow these fears to be seen by others, especially those who might not have our best interests at heart. When we make our fears known, we risk giving others the power to use them against us. Consider a time when you shared a vulnerability with someone. Perhaps it was a fear of not succeeding, or an anxiety about being judged. Now think about how that person responded. Did they offer empathy, understanding, and encouragement, or did they use your fear as a way to manipulate your behavior? It's easy to forget that not everyone around us has good intentions. People, sometimes unknowingly, can take advantage of our insecurities. They can twist our fears to influence our decisions, making us doubt ourselves and act in ways that don't align with our best interests. The reality is, when you reveal your fears, you give others the opportunity to play on them. Fear is a tool that can be wielded against you. A person who knows what you fear can use it as leverage to control your actions. They may use your fear of failure to make you second-guess your choices, or your fear of rejection to manipulate your behavior. This is not to say that everyone around us is malicious, but simply that humans are complex, and sometimes people will unconsciously use the information they have about you to influence your actions. This is why it's essential to shield your deepest fears. When you keep your fears private, you retain control over how you handle them. You don't give anyone the opportunity to use your fears against you. Your fears, as daunting as they may seem, are yours to confront and manage. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your vulnerabilities, and you certainly don't have to give them the power to dictate your choices based on those fears. One of the most powerful ways to shield your fears is by taking ownership of them. When you acknowledge your fears, face them, and make peace with them, they lose their power over you. Fear only controls you when you allow it to. By confronting your fears head-on and taking responsibility for them, you disarm them. When you own your fears, you transform them from a source of weakness into a source of strength. Instead of hiding from them, you take charge and decide how you will deal with them. At the same time, it's crucial not to let anyone else's perception of your fears affect how you handle them. People may try to downplay your fears, dismiss them as unimportant, or tell you that you should simply get over it. They may tell you that your fear of failure is irrational, or that you shouldn't be so afraid of what others think. But the truth is, your fears are real to you. They are a part of your human experience, and they deserve to be acknowledged and respected.
Don't let anyone tell you that your fears are invalid or that you should simply move on. Instead, work through them at your own pace and do so in private if that helps you feel more empowered. When you shield your fears, you also protect your personal boundaries. Boundaries are essential for emotional well-being. They allow you to determine what information you share with others and how much of yourself you make vulnerable. People who respect your boundaries will understand that certain things are off limits, while others may try to push those boundaries. By keeping your fears private, you set a clear boundary around your emotional world. You don't allow others to intrude upon your vulnerabilities unless you choose to let them in. This is a vital step in maintaining emotional strength and resilience. Another reason to keep your fears hidden is to preserve your confidence. Confidence comes from knowing yourself and trusting that you have the ability to handle life's challenges. When you expose your fears to others, especially if they don't understand them, you risk having your confidence shaken. People might unintentionally make you feel small, weak, or incapable, and that can erode the confidence you've worked so hard to build. Keeping your fears to yourself allows you to stay grounded in your own sense of self-worth. You don't need validation from others to know that you are strong and capable. Additionally, by shielding your fears, you create space for personal growth. Growth happens in the quiet moments, when you face your fears in solitude. It's during those moments, when you are alone with your thoughts and feelings, that you truly come to understand the roots of your fears and how to overcome them. Sharing your fears with others may make you feel understood in the moment, but it doesn't necessarily lead to personal growth. The real work happens when you take responsibility for your fears and find ways to move beyond them. Whether that means seeking help from a therapist, reading self-help books, or engaging in practices like meditation and journaling. It's during this inner work that you make the most profound progress. By shielding your fears, you also allow yourself to move forward without being constantly reminded of them. When you share your fears with others, it can sometimes feel like they're constantly in the back of your mind. You may become preoccupied with how others perceive you, or you might start seeking reassurance from people who don't truly understand your fears. This can create a cycle of self-doubt that is difficult to break. By keeping your fears to yourself, you allow them to remain just that, fears. They don't become the focus of your life. Instead, you focus on your goals, your dreams, and your personal journey. There is also a practical reason for keeping your fears private. It keeps you focused on the task at hand. Life is challenging enough without having to navigate the added complexity of other people's opinions and judgments. When you share your fears with others, you often invite unnecessary distractions. People may offer advice that's not helpful, try to solve your problems for you, or even unintentionally make you feel as if your fears are something you need to constantly talk about. Keeping your fears to yourself helps you avoid these distractions and stay focused on the bigger picture. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should isolate yourself completely or avoid talking about your fears with trusted individuals. Everyone needs support at times, and having a support system is crucial for mental health. However, it's important to be discerning about who you share your fears with. Seek out people who are capable of offering support without judgment, who respect your boundaries, and who encourage you to confront your fears in a healthy way. This is a crucial part of protecting your emotional energy and maintaining control over your fears.
Number 8. Conceal personal regrets to maintain a powerful mindset. Regret is a heavy burden. It lingers in the back of your mind, reminding you of past mistakes, missed opportunities, and the things you wish you had done differently. But here's the truth. Holding on to regret does not serve you. It does not make you stronger, wiser, or more capable. In fact, regret can weaken your mindset, cloud your judgment, and keep you stuck in the past. This is why smart people make a conscious decision to conceal their regrets. Not because they are in denial, but because they understand that dwelling on regret serves no purpose. Instead, they focus on what they can control, the present and the future. Everyone has regrets. It is part of being human. Maybe you regret a decision that changed the course of your life. Maybe you regret not taking a chance when you had the opportunity. Or maybe your regrets stem from things you said or did that you wish you could take back. Whatever the case, regrets are personal. They belong to you, and they do not need to be shared with the world. The moment you start talking about your regrets with others, you invite unnecessary opinions, judgments,
and sometimes even pity. And pity is the last thing you need if you want to maintain a powerful mindset. When you openly share your regrets, you risk shaping how others see you. People start to define you by your past mistakes instead of your present strengths. They may begin to question your decisions, doubt your abilities, or even assume that you are incapable of handling future challenges. This is why it is important to keep your regrets to yourself. When you maintain a strong and focused mindset, people see you as someone who moves forward, not someone who is weighed down by the past. One of the biggest dangers of sharing regrets is that it reinforces negative thinking. The more you talk about your regrets, the more power you give them. You relive the pain, the disappointment, and the frustration over and over again. This constant reflection keeps you in a cycle of self-doubt and prevents you from fully embracing new opportunities. Smart individuals recognize that focusing on the past does not change it. What matters is what they do next. Regret can also be used against you. There are people who, whether intentionally or not, will use your regrets to manipulate you. They may bring up your past mistakes to make you feel guilty, insecure, or hesitant to take action. They may remind you of your failures to keep you from growing beyond them. By keeping your regrets private, you take away that power. You control the narrative of your own life. No one else gets to define you by the things you wish you had done differently. Another reason to conceal personal regrets is that dwelling on them weakens your confidence. Confidence is built on self-trust. When you constantly revisit your regrets, you question your past choices, which in turn makes you doubt your ability to make good decisions moving forward. Instead of looking at your past with disappointment, shift your focus to what you have learned. Every mistake, every missed opportunity, and every wrong turn has given you experience. Those lessons are valuable, but they do not need to be shared with everyone. Internalize them, apply them, and move forward with strength. Successful people do not let regret define them. They acknowledge their past, but do not let it dictate their future. They understand that the energy spent regretting could be used to build something better. They take responsibility for their actions, make adjustments, and push forward with confidence. This mindset is what separates those who grow from those who remain stuck in cycles of self-doubt. One of the most important aspects of concealing regrets is learning how to reframe them. Instead of viewing them as failures, view them as lessons. Instead of feeling ashamed, recognize that you are wiser because of your experiences. This simple shift in mindset allows you to maintain a sense of control over your life. When you keep your regrets private, you give yourself the space to process them in a healthy way, without outside interference or unnecessary negativity. Keeping your regrets to yourself also prevents you from being seen as someone who dwells on the past. People respect those who take responsibility for their actions and keep moving forward. They are drawn to individuals who display strength and resilience, not those who constantly talk about what they wish they had done differently. By concealing your regrets, you project an image of self-assurance, which in turn attracts more positive opportunities into your life. Another powerful reason to keep regrets private is that talking about them can sometimes make them feel bigger than they actually are. The more you vocalize a regret, the more significant it becomes in your mind. What might have been a minor mistake suddenly starts to feel like a defining moment in your life. By keeping regrets to yourself, you prevent them from growing into something larger than they need to be. It is also important to remember that not everyone will understand your regrets the way you do. You may share something personal, expecting empathy or understanding, but instead you receive judgment, criticism, or indifference. This can make you feel even worse about your past decisions. When you keep regrets private, you protect yourself from unnecessary pain and disappointment. You do not give others the chance to make you feel worse about something you are already working to overcome. Concealing regrets does not mean ignoring them. It simply means choosing where to direct your energy. Instead of letting regret control your emotions, use it as motivation to improve. If you regret not taking action in the past, let that be the push you need to seize new opportunities. If you regret making a poor decision, commit to making better choices moving forward. Regret should not be a weight that holds you back. It should be a lesson that propels you forward. A strong mindset is built on resilience, and resilience comes from learning how to manage your thoughts and emotions. Regret is one of the most draining emotions if left unchecked. It steals your focus, your motivation, and your belief in yourself. By keeping your regrets to yourself, you create a mental environment that is focused on growth rather than self-pity. Another advantage of keeping regrets private is that it helps you stay in the present. The past is gone. No amount of talking about it will change what has already happened. What you can control is what you do today. When you focus on the present, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new experiences, and new possibilities for success. The more you live in the now, the less power your regrets have over you. Maintaining a powerful mindset requires discipline. It means being mindful of the thoughts you entertain and the conversations you engage in. Talking about regrets repeatedly is like reopening an old wound. It prevents healing. Smart people understand this, which is why they choose to keep their regrets private. They do not dwell on what cannot be changed. They focus on what they can do moving forward. Success comes from looking ahead, not looking back. Every moment spent regretting the past is a moment taken away from building a better future. Concealing your regrets is not about being dishonest with yourself. It is about being strategic with your energy. Your past does not define you. Your regrets do not determine your worth. What matters is how you rise from your experiences and use them to become stronger.
Number 9. Never reveal strategy secrets to outsmart your competition. Success is not just about talent or hard work. It is about strategy. The way you think, plan, and execute determines how far you go in life. And if you want to stay ahead, if you want to outsmart the competition, then you must learn to keep your strategy secrets to yourself. Because the moment you reveal them, you give away your power. You make it easy for others to copy, counter, or even sabotage your progress. Smart people understand this, and that is why they never expose their strategies for others to use against them. In any field, business, sports, personal development, or even relationships, strategy is everything. It is the difference between winning and losing. If you openly share the strategies that give you an edge, you lose your advantage. Think about the most successful people in history. Did they reveal their secrets before they won? Did they tell their competitors exactly how they were going to succeed? Of course not. They protected their methods, refined their tactics, and executed their plans without unnecessary exposure. Some people share their strategies because they want validation. They want others to recognize how smart or strategic they are. But this need for recognition is dangerous. When you talk too much about your plans, you invite competition. You give others the opportunity to prepare against you. You might think you're just sharing ideas, but in reality, you are giving others the tools to compete with you more effectively. And sometimes, they will use your own ideas to beat you. There is another danger in revealing too much. Others may try to block your progress. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people feel threatened by your ambition, and if they know exactly how you plan to succeed, they will look for ways to stop you. They might spread doubt, steal your ideas, or manipulate situations to their advantage. By keeping your strategy to yourself, you avoid giving them the opportunity to interfere with your success. Strategy is about timing. It is about knowing when to act and when to stay silent. Sharing too early can disrupt your momentum. The best moves are made when others least expect them. Imagine a chess game. If you tell your opponent your next move, they will counter it. But if you stay quiet, if you calculate your steps carefully, you control the game. Life works the same way. Some people will tell you that being open and transparent about your strategies builds trust. But trust is earned through results, not words. When you succeed, people will respect you for your achievements, not for how much you shared along the way. There is nothing wrong with giving general advice, inspiring others, or mentoring those who are willing to learn. But that does not mean exposing the details of your strategies. Smart people know the difference. There is also a psychological advantage to keeping your strategy private. When people do not know your next move, they cannot prepare against it. They remain uncertain. While you stay in control, uncertainty creates hesitation, and hesitation gives you the upper hand. When you reveal too much, you remove this advantage. You make it easy for others to anticipate and counter your actions. Another reason to keep your strategies private is to avoid unnecessary criticism. The moment you share your plans, people will start giving opinions, most of them unhelpful. They will tell you why it will not work, why you should do things differently, why someone else has a better approach. This can create doubt, slow you down, or even make you change a strategy that could have worked. By keeping your plans to yourself,
you protect your confidence. You stay focused on execution rather than explanation. Some people will pretend to be interested in your strategies, but their real goal is to use them for their own benefit. They will ask questions, act supportive, and encourage you to share more. Then when the time is right, they will take what they learned from you and apply it for themselves. And often they will not acknowledge where they got the information. Do not make it easy for others to benefit from your hard work without putting in the effort themselves. In competitive environments, information is power. The less others know about your strategy, the harder it is for them to compete with you. The business world is filled with stories of companies losing their advantage because they shared too much. Entrepreneurs have lost billion-dollar ideas because they trusted the wrong people with their strategies. Careers have been derailed because someone revealed too much too soon. The lesson is clear. Protect your strategies as if your success depends on it, because it does. This applies not just to business, but to personal goals as well. If you are working towards a major life change, whether it's a career move, a financial investment, or a new project, keep the details to yourself until you are ready. People may not intentionally try to stop you, but their doubts, opinions, and skepticism can influence your mindset. And when your mindset is affected, your execution suffers. Some people mistakenly believe that sharing their strategies will help them gain support. But real support does not come from sharing. It comes from proving. People support results. They follow success. If you want others to respect your work, focus on execution. When you win, people will be curious about how you did it. That is when you have the choice to share, or to keep winning while they keep wondering. History has shown that the greatest strategists keep their methods hidden until the right moment. Leaders, innovators, and game changers do not announce their every move. They make calculated decisions in silence and let their results do the talking. They understand that true power is not in what is shared, but in what is applied. Keeping your strategies private also gives you flexibility. When others do not know your exact plan, you have room to adjust, pivot, and refine your approach without interference. If you announce your strategy too early, you create expectations, and expectations create pressure. This pressure can force you to stick to a plan, even when adjustments are needed. By keeping things private, you give yourself the freedom to adapt without external influence. This is not about being secretive or distrustful. It is about being smart. Success is a game of strategy, and in any game, the one who reveals the least controls the outcome. By keeping your plans to yourself, you maintain control over your journey. You decide when to reveal, when to act, and when to stay silent. This control is what separates those who lead from those who follow. Your strategy is your power, your competitive edge, your secret weapon. Do not give it away freely. Protect it, use it wisely, and when the time comes, let your success speak for itself. The world does not need to know how you are going to win. They just need to see that you did.
Number 10. Stay silent about inner conflicts to build mental resilience. Building mental resilience is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life. It is the ability to stay strong in the face of challenges, to push forward even when things get difficult, and to maintain control over your emotions and thoughts. But here's the truth. Resilience is not built by seeking constant validation from others. It is not developed by openly sharing every internal struggle with people who may not truly understand or care. Smart people know this. They know that staying silent about inner conflicts is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about protecting their strength, their focus, and their ability to keep moving forward. When you share your inner conflicts too often, you give away your mental power. You expose yourself to opinions, judgments, and unnecessary advice from people who may not have your best interests at heart. Some will offer support, but many will simply criticize, question, or downplay your struggles. And when you hear too many voices, you start to lose trust in your own. You start doubting yourself. You begin to second-guess your ability to handle problems on your own, and that weakens your resilience. Mental resilience is built in silence, through self-discipline and reflection. It comes from learning how to face problems without immediately seeking external validation. If every time you struggle you run to others for reassurance, you train yourself to depend on their words instead of your own inner strength. You become reliant on approval instead of self-trust. But when you learn to process your inner conflicts quietly, you develop the ability to solve problems without external influence. You build confidence in your own judgment. There is also another danger in sharing your inner struggles too freely. People may use them against you. Not everyone is trustworthy. Some people may seem like they care, but deep down they are gathering information. They are taking mental notes, and when the time comes, they might use what you shared to manipulate, discredit, or undermine you. They may twist your words, exaggerate your struggles, or spread information that was meant to stay private. Smart people understand this risk. That is why they choose their confidants carefully. They do not reveal their struggles to just anyone. This does not mean you should never talk about your problems, but it does mean you must be selective. Some struggles are personal, and they should remain that way. Not every thought, doubt, or challenge needs to be spoken out loud. Some battles are meant to be fought internally, because in fighting them alone, you become stronger. You learn to trust yourself. You build resilience that no one can take away. There is a power in silence. When you keep your inner conflicts to yourself, you give yourself the space to process them without interference. You learn to manage stress, frustration, and disappointment on your own terms. You do not let outside noise dictate how you should feel or react. You stay in control of your emotions. You become the master of your own mind. Think about the strongest people you know. Do they constantly talk about their problems, or do they carry themselves with quiet confidence? Do they need the world to know every struggle they face, or do they handle challenges with strength and composure? The people who are truly resilient do not announce their inner conflicts to the world. They work through them privately. They seek solutions instead of sympathy. They focus on growth, not attention. This is not about isolation. It is about knowing the difference between seeking support and oversharing. It is about recognizing that not everyone needs to know what you are going through. It is about protecting your energy, your mindset, and your ability to stay strong in the face of adversity. The moment you open up about your inner conflicts, you invite different reactions, some supportive, some critical, some completely unhelpful. And these reactions can influence your mental state. They can make you feel weaker instead of stronger. They can make you question yourself instead of moving forward with confidence. But when you keep certain struggles to yourself, you maintain control. You do not let external voices shake your foundation. Resilience is built through self-reliance. The more you handle on your own, the more capable you become. This does not mean you have to suffer in silence. It means you need to choose your moments wisely. Some struggles require guidance from a trusted mentor, a close friend, or a professional. But many struggles can be worked through internally, through reflection, discipline, and action. When you keep your inner conflicts private, you also maintain an element of mystery. People do not know what you are going through, so they cannot make assumptions, pass judgment, or interfere in ways that may not be helpful. They see your strength, but they do not see your battles, and that gives you an advantage. Because when people cannot predict your struggles, they cannot predict your next move. They cannot use your weaknesses against you. Mental resilience is not about pretending you have no problems. It is about learning to manage them effectively. It is about understanding that some struggles are best handled in silence, away from the opinions and influence of others. It is about knowing that real strength comes from within, not from external validation. There will be times in life when you feel overwhelmed, when doubts creep in, when stress becomes heavy, and in those moments you will be tempted to share everything with others, hoping for relief. But before you do, ask yourself, will this make me stronger? Or will it make me more dependent on external reassurance? Will this conversation help me grow? Or will it weaken my ability to face challenges on my own? If the answer points to dependency, then the better choice is to stay silent, process the conflict internally, and find your own way through it. Not because you have to suffer alone, but because in solving problems independently, you gain the kind of strength that no one can take away. Strong people do not let the world see every battle they fight. They do not seek attention for their struggles. They do not depend on others to make them feel better. They work through their challenges quietly. They grow from them, and they come out stronger on the other side. And that is what sets them apart. Every time you face an internal struggle, you have a choice. You can either let it control you, or you can control it. You can either seek external reassurance, or you can build inner strength. You can either let others define your emotional state, or you can take full ownership of your resilience. Choose wisely, because the strongest people are not those who never struggle, but those who know how to handle their struggles without letting them define them. Keep your inner conflicts private, build resilience in silence, and let your strength speak for itself.